On problem 23, we're supposed to solve the given system using substitution or elimination, and then check our answer. I think I'm going to use elimination to solve this system, but before I do that, I would like to get rid of the fact that there's a fraction on one side of my equation, and since that fraction is just showing something getting divided by 2, I'm going to start by multiplying both sides of that equation by 2. That will clear out that fraction, and now I have a new system that's got all whole numbers, no fractions in it. When you use elimination, you want to use a multiplier in order to get one of the variables to be equal opposites of each other. If I multiply the second rule by negative 12, that will make my x variables be opposites of each other. Both will have the number 12 in front, and one of them will be negative. You have to make sure and distribute that negative 12 to all parts of the equation. And so my new rule would be negative 12x plus 48y is equal to negative 36. So I multiplied all three things, both sides of the equation, by negative 12. Then I'm going to rewrite the other rule underneath that, and I'm going to add those two rules together. When I add them together, my x's are going to eliminate. That's why we call this method elimination. So adding straight down and combining like terms, the x's cancel, and I get 58y is equal to negative 29. One more step to get the y by itself, and that's to divide both sides by 58. So that gives me y equals negative 29 over 58, which is the same thing as negative 1/2. That's only half of my solution. Now I need to solve for the value of x by plugging in that value of y to either one of the rules. I'm going to plug it into the second rule. And so I'm going to replace the letter y with the value that I got for y, negative 1/2. And then I'll use that equation to solve for x. First I multiplied negative 4 and negative 1/2. That gave me positive 2. Then I subtracted 2 from both sides, and that gave me x is equal to 1. So now we have our full solution. X is equal to 1, y is equal to 1/2, negative 1/2. Problem 24, we're given another system of equations to solve. Since I used elimination on the last system, I'll go ahead and use substitution on this one so that I can show an example of each. So I'm going to use the first rule, and I'm going to use that rule to isolate the x. It's only going to take one step to isolate the x, and that is to divide both sides by 4. I probably wouldn't choose this method if everything in that equation wasn't already divisible by 4 to begin with. So dividing both sides by 4 gives me x equals 2y plus 1. And now I can take that and plug it into the other rule where I see an x. So that gives me negative 3 times 2y plus 1 minus 8y is equal to negative 31. Now I have an equation with just one variable, which is y, and I can use that equation to solve for y. I'm going to start by distributing the negative 3 to the parentheses. Then I'm going to combine my like terms, add 3 to both sides, and finally divide both sides by negative 14. That gives me a value of 2 for y. Again, that's only half my solution. Now I need to go back and figure out what the x value should be by plugging in my y value of 2 into either one of the rules. I'm going to plug it into the first rule, so I replace y with the number 2, and then I'm going to use that rule to solve for x. So I get a result of x equals 5. Now we've got our full solution. X is 5, y is 2.